Hey y'all, welcome to Night Combos. Hubby is not here yet. He's not home from work yet. It'll be a little bit later before he gets home. He just texted me to let me know. So, anyway, we figured he would get called into work today. We were hoping that he wouldn't, but he did. So, I was going ahead and doing these videos and going over the book a little bit in a separate video for those of you who still want to hear the book. But there's so many things that we need to unpack that has gone on that it's wild. But I know hubby wants to be here for a shout out that we need to do and go over another video that, like I said, we just need to unpack several things. But in this video, it's just going to kind of be a shorter video because I just want to go over something that's kind of been going around. But I want y'all to see a clip first real quick, and then I'll show you a document, or not a document, but some proof, and then that'll be about it in this video. And then I'll probably do a video on the book if hubby's not home from work yet. And then when hubby gets home from work, we'll do the video where we need to unpack a lot of things, y'all. But because we received an email that is a little similar to another, or sounds a little similar to another creator, but we don't know if it came from the same person or anything like that. It doesn't seem to say the exact same things, but says mainly the same points. But anyway, before I get into that real quick, I just want to say from both hubby and I, thank you so very much to all of our subscribers. Thank you so much to all of our new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope y'all continue to enjoy our channel and our content. We hope y'all enjoy us, all of that. We appreciate all of our subscribers that's been with us from the very beginning all the way to now. We know there's several of you, and we truly appreciate y'all so very much. And we appreciate all of our new subscribers so much. We're so close to reaching 3,100 subscribers by the end of the year, the end of the month. We truly hope that we do. We don't have much more to go before we reach 3,100 subscribers. So hopefully y'all can help us with that. So if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos, all of the things, and we would greatly appreciate it so very much. But jumping into this video, I want y'all to see a clip from another creator, Flawless Nina, which I'm sure a lot of y'all already have heard of or have seen before. But I want y'all to see a clip from her because she reads an email from a source that reached out to her, and she says, several times it's just a source that happened to reach out to her. She doesn't know really what to think of it, and so that's it. So it's basically kind of, say your thoughts on it and let us know y'all's thoughts and opinions on this as well, what y'all think. And so I'm going to show y'all that clip, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, Flawless Nina has up on the screen, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's relationship is falling apart, and CPS, Child Protective Services, has already reached out to her to offer assistance. And we've had several people in our comment sections in previous videos, and we've also seen in other people's videos on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram as well, matter of fact, saying that CPS cannot get involved in your pregnancy. If you haven't had the baby yet, CPS cannot get involved. Well, that's not true. We actually spoke with a Child Protective Services worker. We have a close family member that worked in Child Protective Services for many years and worked with law enforcement and all of that with their job. So I'll tell you about all of that after this clip.
Wants the baby. And Ken has agreed that at first sign of Gypsy using the baby for manipulative or financial tactics, that he'll leave and apply for sole custody with Christy supporting him. But Christy wants to have sole guardian of the baby. And says that Gypsy is unfit to be a mother. She can't even take care of herself, so how could she take care of the baby? And if it came down to it, she'd kick Gypsy out and allow Ken and the baby to stay if it means having control. Christy despises Gypsy so much and has vented to so many family members a lot about her being selfish, immature, lazy, and entitled. Rod is in the middle right now, but Mia is done. Gypsy found out yesterday about the plan for the baby and flipped. Huge argument. And it ended with Gypsy crying, claiming she was having miscarriage pains due to the stress from Christy putting pressure on her to go back to school and get a career while she helps the baby. Helps the baby. It gets better. Children's Services has already reached out, asking to meet and discuss whether any support is needed, aka they are already keeping tabs on Gypsy. She cannot stand Christy or Mia, especially Mia, because Mia has the sense that it's not a secret that she's jealous of her. A plan is for Christy to tell Parole that Gypsy can't stay there anymore, and so leaving Gypsy having to go back, in which case the baby gets handed straight to the dad or her parents. Ryan is still being strung along and contacted every time Gypsy argues with Ken or Christy, and that's why he's so mad about them talks about Ken needing to get a job, because she's feeding him a victim storyline as usual and keeping him as backup in case she needs to use his address again when it all goes wrong for good. Gypsy hates being told what to do and having to watch Christy be the woman of the house as she needs to be in control. She's desperately trying to present as them getting along and the appearance for the sake of Parole watching her. She's spiraling, and now she found out about Ken and Christy having conversations about the baby's future and that it may not involve her, and she's about to do something drastic. Apparently, she's given Ken an ultimatum to propose to her for the public to see and to realize that for them not to realize how bad things are and to prove to her that he is not going to betray her, as otherwise she's threatened to find a way to keep him out of the baby's life. Gypsy is glued to his phone 24/7, crazy obsessed. Even Rod told her it's not healthy, and why be with someone and have a kid with them if you have to watch their every move and don't want him to work out of jealousy.
Now, the email we got said basically the same thing, but we have talked about this on our channel before, where we had a source let us know that, or tell us that Christy and Gypsy have not been getting along for a while now. They've actually been arguing, fussing, fighting, and carrying on for a while. Mia's kind of done with the situation, but she's already signed the lifetime contract, so she at least has to kind of be there to film. Same thing with Ken, he has to be around to film. And that's another thing we're going to get into with the video that hubby and I are going to unpack. But Mia's boyfriend doesn't even want to be around the family, which, I mean, who would, with a bunch of arguing and fussing and fighting and carrying on, but he feels uncomfortable, which he shouldn't have to feel uncomfortable around his own girlfriend's family, when they have a good relationship any other time. But we've talked about that on our channel before, them not getting along, Christy and Gypsy not getting along for a while now because of Gypsy being lazy and not helping out around the house, not cooking or cleaning, not doing anything for herself. And you need to at least have those basic necessities for a child, to take care of a child. Now, the email that we got didn't say anything about Christy wanting control. And we're not saying that, Flawless Nina is lying or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just simply saying the email that we got was, I'm assuming, a little more brief than what Nina got, the email that Nina apparently got. So, yeah, it just didn't have as much information in it. But it didn't have anything about Christy wanting control and all of that. Now, I could definitely see Christy wanting control. Again, y'all let us know y'all's thoughts and comments, opinions, and everything about all this down below in the comment section. Like always, we'll be down there with y'all as well in the comment section, conversating with y'all like always. But as far as Dip Jip being, lazy and entitled and all of that, I mean, in my opinion, that comes from DeeDee, because DeeDee literally spoiled Dip Jip. Okay, she really did. I mean, look at all the times that sorry about that. Look at all the times that DeeDee, or Dip Jip came after DeeDee, like to attack her with a BB pew pew or other scenarios, and DeeDee would just make up a lie to get Dip Jip out of trouble or keep her out of trouble. Doing these cons and scams to give Gypsy this wonderful life, And in our video titled Gypsy, quote, aid DeeDee, that's literally the title, Gypsy, quote, aid DeeDee. If y'all watch that video, for those of you who haven't, y'all really, really should watch it. There's a lot of really good tea and information in that video about how Gypsy has always been and how she's always acted and treated DeeDee, and used DV against DeeDee and ABUSE against DeeDee. Y'all should really go watch that video. I'll make sure to link that video at the top of the description box of this video in case y'all want to go and watch that video if y'all haven't seen it already, or even if you have and you just want to watch it again, whatever. I'll link that video at the top of this video, at the top of the description box of this video. Now, as far as Nina reading from this source, this email, or I'm assuming is an email, that she got, because we got an email about it saying that CPS has already been called and has already reached out. Yes, that can absolutely happen. Look at this. Okay, so like I said, we had a family member that worked in Child Protective Services. In our state, we call it CPS, Child Protective Services, or CPS APS, which is Child and Adult Protective Services. Some states call it DCFS, which is Department of Child and Family Services. It's the same thing, just some states call it DCFS, some states call it CPS APS. Anyway, we spoke with the person that we knew that worked in Child Protective Services and Adult Protective Services for years, and they told us in a situation where a woman is already pregnant, whether they already have children or whether it's their first baby and they're still pregnant, what if there's a concern of some type where it's a concern enough for them to take the case, meaning they would open up a case on the woman, then, and not just dismiss it, because you have like spouses that are separating, for example, something like that, and once like, say for example, the husband gets mad at his wife or something like that who's still pregnant, he may have family members call CPS to make false reports or false claims, or have or he may do it himself or whatever, but false claims are made, and they look into those and see that they're false claims, and they just close the case out. But if they see that there's a reason to open up a case, they will. And in that situation, and it depends on the situation, but in those types of situations, most likely what they do is they will notify the woman's doctor, the woman's OB doctor, or obstetricianist, okay, and also the hospital that they're supposed to be going to, and surrounding hospitals. And they will even go as far as contacting hospitals in the entire state if they need to, as well as other Child Protective Services departments if they need to go that route, if they think someone will try to run, which, I don't see Gypsy doing that, because that would obviously violate her parole. But they will contact the hospital and all of that, so that when they go into the hospital to give birth, then the Department of Child Protective Services will automatically be called. And again, that depends on a situation, of what type of situation it is. But that is like some measures that they could take. So we did that and called and got that information and talked to a relative, like we said, a close relative, like we said, and called Louisiana, and we looked it up here. And this is what this says about what could happen. And it says, yes, in Louisiana, Child Protective Services, or CPS, can get involved during a pregnancy if there is a suspected case of prenatal neglect. Now, that could be of any kind, like rug abuse, or not going to your OB appointments, just all kinds of different things. But it says it means the mother's actions during pregnancy could significantly harm the unborn child, particularly if there is substantial rug use or severe malnutrition. This could lead to an investigation even before the baby is born. Now, that's not the only two situations. That's just giving an example of two situations where CPS could get involved before the child is born. If they know a child is being born to a mother who is mentally incapable of taking care of a child, or physically incapable of taking care of a child, or possibly homeless, living on the streets for whatever reason, that would be other reasons they would get involved and would lead to an investigation before the baby is born. But it says key points to remember is reporting. Healthcare providers are required to report suspected cases of prenatal neglect to CPS if they believe a pregnant woman's behavior possesses a risk to the fetus. And we're like, as a person working in the medical field, you are a mandatory reporter. So you have to report these situations when you see them. I can tell you that from myself, okay? Working in the medical field, you're a mandatory reporter. And then the next thing to remember is substance usage. A primary concern for CPS during pregnancy is substance usage, as an exposure to rugs can harm the developing baby. Investigation. If a report is made, CPS may investigate the pregnant woman's lifestyle and access to prenatal care to assess potential risks to the baby. Intervention options. Depending on the severity of the situation, CPS may offer support services like treatment for rug usage, programs, or monitor the pregnancy closely, and in extreme cases could seek court intervention to protect the unborn child. That's where they would go to court and literally get a judge to sign a document stating that they can legally take custody of the child as soon as it's born. As soon as that child comes out of its mother, the nurses literally have to take that child out of the room and keep it away from the mother in severe situations, and keep it away from the mother until they can find placement for the child, either in foster care or with another family member that they have investigated and looked into and deemed safe. Now, the email we got did say something about Gypsy not being allowed to live in Daddy Rod and Krusty Christie's house anymore, but they weren't sure. The person that sent us an email said they weren't sure that that was going to happen. They just said that they thought that that's what Christie would do or is going to do. So I was looking that up, which Christie allegedly has said would send Dip Jip back to prison, but not necessarily, okay? In Louisiana, if you are on parole and the person you are registered to live with, which in Dip Jip's case is Daddy Rod and Krusty Christie's house in Cutoff, Louisiana, at your parole address kicks you out, it is considered a parole violation, which could lead to a revocation hearing and potential return to prison to serve the remainder of your sentence. You are required to notify your parole officer before changing your address, and being homeless without permission constitutes a violation. So if you get kicked out in the middle of the night out of the address that you're paroled to or registered to live at, and you're on the streets or whatever, and you don't notify your parole officer, that's an automatic violation. You have to immediately notify your parole officer. And it gets into that in the key points to remember. Notification requirement. You must inform your parole officer if you need to change your address, and failing to do so when kicked out is considered a violation. Revocation hearing. If your parole is violated, you will face a hearing where the parole board determines if your parole should be revoked. Potential consequences. If your parole is revoked, you could be returned to prison to serve the remaining part of your original sentence. And then at the very bottom, it just says what you should do if you are kicked out. Contact your parole officer immediately. Inform them of your situation and try to find a new approved residence as soon as possible. Now, when you have a parole officer, you do have their cell phone number, and they do keep that cell phone on them at all times. They don't always answer it, the first time you call, but you keep calling until you get an answer, and you know that you're supposed to know that anyway as a parolee on parole, okay? But if you were to be kicked out in the middle of the night, for example, like I was saying, you would want to call them constantly. However you can get a phone or whatever, you would want to call them to let them know, hey, I was kicked out. I came to such and such hotel for the night, or whatever the circumstances may be. And then it says seek assistance. Reach out to homeless shelters or other organizations that may be able to help you find temporary housing while you work with your parole officer. So those are some of the things you can do if that was to happen. Those are some of the things that Dip Jip could do if that was to happen. But it doesn't mean that she will absolutely automatically go back to prison. Now, going back to Gypsy keeping Ryan on the back burner, basically, which most of us have assumed has been going on anyway, because Ryan has, said his feelings. His private messages to her got leaked. No, they didn't really get leaked. Dip Jip literally sent them to Bree to post on her TikTok, and Ryan spoke out about it. But speaking of that, and Ryan being kept on the back burner and getting strung along and all of that, that wasn't in the email that we got, but apparently it was in the one that Flawless Nina got, or the information that Flawless Nina got, whatever, whether it was a phone call, email, whatever. We don't know what she got, but we got an email, is all I'm saying. But as far as that, I absolutely believe she's kept him on the back burner for a reason. And she has given him this, quote, victim story. She knows that Ryan would take her back and take care of that baby as well. But as far as that goes with a whole nother video, like I was saying, that hubby and I need to unpack, that goes with a lot of other things that Ken has posted and all of that as well. So we'll post that in a separate video. But after this video, I was going to cover some more of the book for those of you who want to hear about the book. And then, like I said, for those of you who don't want to hear the book, because some of you don't, we're still going to be covering, Dip Jip and other stories as well. But that's why we post these videos like this, and the one that hubby and I still need to unpack that has to do with Ken and Ryan and all that jazz. But I hope y'all found this video interesting and informative. And again, let us know y'all's thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. We'll be conversating with y'all as well, like always. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe and help us reach 3,100 by the end of the month. I know that's not much time left before the end of the month, but that's our goal by the end of the month. Hopefully we reach it. If not, that's okay. We still appreciate every single one of you. And we're so happy to have all of you as part of our family on YouTube here. So if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos, all of the things, and we would greatly appreciate it so much. Have a good night and God bless. Bye.